it starts quite far back.
Okay,
And
okay.
even like taking the bin out and putting a hat on, like to take the bin around the back into the front. And it's like, just in case a neighbour sees me
Yeah,
or it's a little bit windy, I can't be asked to deal with it anymore.
yeah, yeah.
And I want to be free of it.
Welcome back to another episode of the Baldcafe podcast here at Baldcafe, sponsored by Leaf Shave. Now, guys, in this episode of the podcast, we're joined by Sam, a young musician in his mid-20s here in the UK. He shares his journey through and beyond male pattern baldness. Listen, if you're on your own journey, kick back, enjoy this one. And to get started, let's hear where Sam was a couple of months ago. The most important thing here is just to have a talk about it all.
For as long as I can remember, I mean, I've always had a really kind of high forehead and my hairline's been quite a ways back, but I've always kind of managed it. I've still got a long fringe now and long hair, and I think I do quite a good job of hiding it. But then again, you never can tell yourself, like, and other people don't really say anything. My hairline's going back, it's receding, and it's getting worse recently. I mean, I'm in my mid-20s. I've always hidden it. I've always made an effort to get up early, kind of have a shower, wash my hair every morning, and like spend a bit of time getting it ready every single day before I go out. And I think because I was young when I started doing that, it wasn't so much of a kind of realization. I didn't get to 20 and be like, oh, I'm going thin or I'm losing it, I need to do something. It's kind of a gradual. Yeah. I've just always got up and made an effort to kind of fix my hair.
So as you just heard there, this is something that Sam's been struggling to deal with for quite a while now, but just recently things really ramped up. And so I wanted to give Sam the opportunity to vent out some of that worry, some of that frustrations that I'm sure a lot of you can relate to when you're dealing with losing your hair.
Because of the whole corona situation, been working from home, I guess it's just brought it to light. I don't have to get up and I don't have to get it sorted. I don't have to wash it every day and all that kind of crap in the morning. So a lot of days I kind of sit there with it messy and unfixed and kind of not how I want it to be, which just kind of emphasizes how unhappy I am with it, how much it stresses me out when I see how bad it really is. Because when I do it, I kind of forget about it. I mean, I spend that bit of time in the morning fannying about with it. And then after that, I kind of forget about it for a bit. It's a lot of time it's got hairspray and that kind of stuff, and I just don't touch it. I just ignore it. And I've been okay with that. But I think, like I said, it's been a big realization since being at home and not touching it as much. It's just come to my attention more that it's not great. And I want to do something about it. I don't want to faff about with it. I just want to get it done and get it out of the way. But at the same time, I think because I hide it, I feel like I hide it quite well. I feel like it's harder because I don't know, I've always been a bit too hung up on other people's opinions, I guess. And I feel like if I do it after it's been hidden, a lot of people are going to say like, oh, what did you do that for? Like, what happened to your hair? You had nice hair, whatever. It looks like you had thick hair and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that'd properly like gut me to hear it after I've done it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to tell people at this stage.
So as you heard, Sam himself was actually not that worried about what it was going to look like. And he wasn't too concerned about shaving off the receding hair and leaving that negativity behind him. One of the things that was really holding him back was worrying about the disapproval of some of the people around him.
I mean, I've spoken to my partner and a couple of mates, but you're the first kind of person, kind of stranger, if you will, that I've been this open. It's kind of weird. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of...
No, dude, this is what it's about. Keep going, man.
I think because I've hidden it, I feel like that's a bigger hurdle for me to get over. I just want to get it out of the way with it. I'm moving forward in a few things in my life, like I'm starting a few new ventures and new kind of career. I don't want to start it with the same burden over my head. I know a lot of people have a worse situation, I guess, and they do a lot more and they have a lot more to think about with it, but it's still on your mind all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I just want to get it done and I want to move on and I want to move past it and forget it. But I've always got this thing in my head that, is it going to be a mistake? Am I going to regret it? Because as much as I'm hiding stuff now, I'm not that I'm happy with it, but I can forget about it for the majority of the day. It's a strange one. And I feel like that's my issue, because a lot of the people I've seen on your videos, you could see it. If they didn't do anything, you could see that they were thinning or something like that.
Yeah.
And I find myself like sometimes standing there, like looking at it in the shower or whatever, after the shower, and thinking, I kind of wish it'd go. Like, I wish it'd be thinner or go a bit more.
Force your hand almost.
Yeah, so I could go to my parents and say, look, it's bad, isn't it? Yeah, I'm thinking I'm just going to shave it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because it's not, I feel like, and I spoke to my mum about it, which this sounds a bit pathetic. I'm like 26-year-old, but I spoke to my mum about it because I wanted her opinion, because I've always been worried about what she'd say, and I knew what she'd say when I told her, because I said like, oh, think I'm just going to shave my head soon. And she was just instant. She was like, oh, no, 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 no. What are you doing that for? I love your hair, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I was like, I knew she was going to say it.
Yeah.
And it's not her fault. It's not a bad thing for her to say that, but it just hurts when you kind of know that it's going to come eventually. But I guess it's better to tell her now than to do it and show her and then feel like that after I've done it and not have told her. Like you say, it's better verbalizing it.
Yeah.
And having that discussion.
Now, as we were chatting, I really felt like my own hair loss story and Sam's had quite a lot of similarities. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there listening that can really relate to this next part. I was 25, 26 as well, right? Yeah. And obviously I can't really see like where it's at, because I used to have my hairstyle the same, like I used to put a bit of spray in it, kind of put it down like this, but and I would have been surprised if someone else had noticed that my hair was like going at the back. But I was very aware with it. Like I was under no illusion that is it going, isn't it going? Like I was well past that. Like I knew it was going. And my dad's bald. Like all the men in my family are pretty much bald. So like I knew that was where I was headed. I don't know if it's the same situation for you. Do you know if your dad's
Well, my dad's had decent hair for the majority of his life. I think he's in his late 50s, and it's getting a little bit thin, but he's still got hair. But I think my mum's side, her dad he had a big forehead, a receding hairline, but he had hair because my hair's thick, but it's just no one knows it. It starts like the middle of my head kind of thing. It starts quite far back.
Okay. And so is that progressed from what it was before? In
the last 2 or 3 years, I've definitely noticed a difference, and it is going back and it's falling out a lot as well.
Yeah, with hair loss and stuff like that, I mean, it could be a case that, say it's progressed a little bit, like over the last few years, that could continue to happen into your 30s, 40s, 50s, the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so some people are fine with that, the whole mature hairline thing. I think the best example is Jude Law, like how his has just like slowly gone back over the years, and he's worn it like that. And some people are cool with that. Do you know what I mean? However, I think as well as I know, it's not down necessarily to it's not about how it looks. That's not what it's about. It's about it is going, and that's where it gets uncomfortable. And so I was the same. I wasn't necessarily like really heavily like balding, massive like bald spot at the crown. And I didn't get into using all the like hair fibers and hats and stuff, but it was always on my mind. I was always worrying about it, and it was affecting like more my behavior, so like how I carried myself and where I would choose to sit and and things like that. So
yeah,
it sounds like it's similar in some ways. It's not necessarily like really extreme like anxiety and you have to do all these things to cover it up. It's almost like fit into your daily routine. But obviously the fact that you do have a routine around it and it is like a thing to conceal it is so that makes you aware of it, of course. Which is super normal, but that's I guess for you and for people in a similar situation, those are the motivating factors to kind of just like, right, I just want to kind of get over that, meaning I want to get over that hurdle, and deal with it one way or another.
Even when I'm at home working, we have video calls and stuff. Most of the time I'll have a hat on, and I don't leave the house without a hat on, really. It's been the same for a long time. I kind of just ignored the fact that I was doing it when I was at university. It was really windy all the time. I had a hat on constantly walking to and from uni. And I put it down to, it's just the wind. I don't want it to mess my hair up. But it's just always been on my head. And I want to think about it, like, why didn't I want it to mess my hair up? It's because, I've got a big forehead, of receding hairline, and I didn't want
that to be revealed.
Yeah.
So you've heard more there on Sam's experience with the hair loss up until now. Let's hear his thoughts on what he might do next.
And I'm getting to that point in my life, I think, where, like I said, I'm in my mid-20s. I just don't want to be that guy that's getting older and still worrying about something so small. I know it's not a small issue. In the grand scheme of things, like, to be putting that much stress and worry, leaving the house without, like, I'd love to be able to leave the house and just not worry about it. Even like taking the bin out and putting a hat on, like to take the bin around the back into the front. And it's like, just in case a neighbour sees me, or it's a little bit windy. If there's a slight breeze, like, and it's like just flapping about, I'm like, I'll put a cap on. I think I've said to you before that I come musician as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's another big issue, whether it's an issue or not, or just built up in my own head. That's just another thing that kind of worries me a little bit. I've put some music out recently, and there's all kind of promo material behind it and photos and all that kind of stuff. And you build up a bit of an identity and a bit of a brand image. Obviously not got a huge following, and it probably wouldn't make a difference anyway, but it's still a thing in my own head. It's good for some people to just know that they can do it whenever they want, and that in itself is comfort, because you can kind of put up with it thinking that, yeah, at some point in a year's time I'm going to do it, but for now I'll make the most of what I've got, kind of thing. I mean, I've done that for a while. I feel like I've been doing that. I'm not hugely worried about how it'll look, as weird as that sounds. Like, that doesn't scare me as much as people's opinions of why did you do it, kind of thing. I don't think I will dislike it. It's whether other people will say that was a stupid decision. Why have you done that? You look better before. What about your music? What about your image? All that kind of stuff. I know all the things you're saying. Like, it makes perfect sense, and you explain it so well. It's all down to, like, it doesn't change you as a person. Like, I've got things to focus on, and it's not the end of the world. All that kind of stuff. And I know it's going to be a quick, easy thing to do, and hopefully it won't be the end of the world, and I won't dislike it. It's just that hump of just doing it, isn't it? That in the moment, like I have stood there with the Clippers, a couple of times, and like had them buzzing, and it's loud and scary, isn't it? I mean, it's intimidating. Even though I've shaved my beard and stuff, I'm used to the Clippers. But when you've got them thinking this that you're used to, that you've lived with for 20 odd years, like, is all going to go, and it is part of your identity and how you think of yourself. And visualize yourself, thinking that's going to change is it's a huge thing, because it's who you are and who you think you are, but it also isn't. Like, it is, because you've never changed it. But I guess, like what you're saying, once you have changed it, you realize that it doesn't really affect anything about you. You're still the same person, etc. I have had a couple of conversations with close friends and family, because I don't know, I just kind of want to tell people, because I want them to know that it's coming, and I want to gauge their reaction. Being at home has really been...
Got a lot of time to think, right? You got a lot of time to dwell on it.
Yeah. And like, just not doing anything with my hair for a year, pretty much. And like you just get to grip. I'm just fed up with it. And it's grown, because I've not had it cut. Like, it's long, it's floppy, it's stupid, and it's annoying, and that part of me just wants to just get rid of it. Like, and then, like you said earlier, I have actually got that then as if I felt like I needed to have an excuse, which I don't want to. But,
but it's there.
I can't be asked to deal with it anymore.
And
I want to be free of it. Sorry.
No, dude, no, not at all. It's like taking me back, because I was the exact same.
Faff. Like, it's just a constant faff. Like getting a knock on the door with like a postman, and it's like, oh shit, like somehow out quickly before I open the door. And then as I'm doing it, or after I've done it, I'm just like it's not even a second or 2 seconds worth of action, but it's just the thought and the constant thought that pops into your head. And it's just, that is draining. It's just, people that don't have the issue, I don't think they will ever realize, unless they have it themselves, how draining it is, just having a constant nagging thought that is negative, essentially, isn't it? It's you don't look good, sort it out. Every single time you want to leave the house or open the door or do a video call. My biggest issue is just the opinions of people close to me. It's just a scary hurdle to get over. But it's not even like I've got any reason to be afraid. Like, no one, like I said, no one's ever said don't do it, or that's a bad decision, you're going to look stupid, etc. Like, no one's ever said that. And I've only ever had support after I've explained how it makes me feel. And in fact, I've not left the house without a hat for 5 years or whatever. Like, really, it's not really got anything to lose, and hopefully I'll do it and I'll love it and enjoy it, and I'll be able to move on and not have to worry about the faff and all that anxiety and stress.
So that was our first chat, and I really enjoyed it, and I really, like I said, just enjoyed giving Sam the opportunity to talk to someone who's kind of been through it, and most importantly, vent out some of that pent-up frustration. But as you would have noticed there, Sam was down about this stuff, he was feeling down about it, but he was certainly not out. Now, a couple of months later, Sam hit me up again. We jumped on Zoom for another chat, and guys, this is how it played out. Sam,
Oh, mate.
doing well. How are you?
Good.
I'm just excited to catch up, mate. So
Yeah.
after we spoke last, you weren't like sure where you were going to go with it. So I said, listen, let's go have we'll jump on, have a quick chat. So where kind of did it play out for you then afterwards?
I don't think it was too long after we spoke. Like you say, I was kind of in two minds at the time. I think speaking to you for me at the time was kind of like mentally preparing myself and like investing in the idea of actually going for it.
Yeah.
But I spoke to you and I think you told me to make a list of like pros and cons and like what I thought about what people would think and how I'd feel about it afterwards, all this kind of stuff. So I did that the same day, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably a week, maybe less than a week after we spoke. I don't know what triggered it, what kind of pushed me over the line and got me to go for it, but I just took some clippers and just went at it, really. Yeah, I don't know whether I even knew I was going to do it because I stood there a few times, like in the bathroom in the mirror, like with the clippers, like, no, I won't do it.
Yeah.
And then, the sound puts you off and stuff. But I went in there, yeah, and I just did it. I just went one straight through the middle, and then I was like, right, I'll finish it off now.
Committed now, yeah.
Pretty much in my own head. As soon as I'd done it, I mean, I left it a little bit longer. It was I don't know. It might have been like a 3 guard when I did it first. I sat there for a few hours with it, and then went down again. And then by the end of the day, I think it was down to a 0 guard on the clippers for the first day. And yeah, as soon as I did it, I felt better. I think I wasn't 100% sold on it, but I knew that I didn't dislike it. I think the thing that was stopping me for a long time was what I thought other people would think and how they'd react, like family and close friends.
Yeah.
But I never really told them how it was affecting me and how much it was bothering me.
Yeah, that's a big part of it, right?
Yeah, but I'd mentioned it like really briefly to like my mum a few times and they weren't really fussed, I don't think. But then I did it and I sent some photos on WhatsApp and whatnot. It wasn't that no one said like, I don't like it, but there were some comments that were a bit like, oh, I liked your hair. Like, I didn't realize you were going to do that. I didn't know it was something you were going to do and you were feeling that way. And I sent it to my mate and he was like, oh, I'm not sure. I was like, well, I wasn't asking for your opinion, but I was just showing you. But
and you have done it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just shock factor. Like, people didn't realise that I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Didn't know how I was feeling. And I had quite a long fringe and stuff, and it was quite a difference. So I think just sending people a picture out of the blue is a bit like, oh, Jesus. Like,
yeah, out of the blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think probably about a week went by and then I started feeling better about it myself. And like I said, I never disliked it, but I was just like, I think it for me as well, it was obviously a bit of a jarring.
Yeah. It's a change, isn't it? It's a big change even for yourself, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, after that, it just got easier for me and better. And I felt more confident and happy with it. And it just kept going. And then I put a post out on Facebook and Instagram, I think, probably a week after I'd done it. I think I'd just shaved it down to the wood, like with a razor. And just absolutely tons of people like engaged with it, commenting, liking. And like everyone was so nice about it. Which I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know. I didn't know if anyone would even bother reading it because it was quite a long post.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to ask that. So in the post, did you kind of detail a little bit about like why you'd done it and things like that, right?
Yeah. I kind of said about how long it's been affecting me and how much of kind of your everyday life gets affected and how it's hard for people to understand it that haven't experienced it. Subconsciously, I guess, when you look in the mirror and you see yourself a certain way, it kind of affects your own psyche and how you do it. Affects how you present yourself, whether you want it to be that way or not. Like I said, I had a big fringe and my hairline was receding and I was always fighting with it, trying to get it to work. And I mean, I said this in the last video when we had a chat before, but if you go in the wind, you've got a hat on, if you go swimming, you don't want to dunk your head under, all these kind of things. Like I say, you never feel in control of it. But then as soon as I'd done it and got used to it and posted and let everyone know why I'd done it, yeah, I just felt in control of everything again. And I just never felt as confident since then in my appearance. And it's taken me, I just turned 26 at Christmas. So yeah, 26 years of kind of being in and out of self-consciousness and getting upset by it, even though it's not on the forefront of your mind, but it's always at the back of your mind.
Lingering, yeah.
It's just so liberating. And once you get over the shock of it yourself, I mean, some people, like I've seen your video, some people seem to just instantly like, I love it straight away. I think it took me probably about a weekish to get used to it. Like I said, I put that post out and then it was just like, so many people said, you look great.
That was a big step for you, right?
Yeah. And I've got quite a few friends that are my age that have done it, and some of my dad's friends and stuff like that that are older that like saw my post and commented saying like it's the best decision to make for yourself if it's affecting you, and like you look great for it in their opinion. And yeah, they were happy that I was happy, and like it was just really nice to get people commenting saying I didn't know it bothered you, but like it's great, like you look good, and if it's made you happier, then what, like what's the downside?
What's not to like? Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like I said, the benefits for me, the mental benefit is like immeasurable. Like even like sitting here on a Zoom call or like doing a video or something like beforehand, it like, because I play guitar and I do music and stuff. And like if I was setting up for a video, I'd set up for ages. Like I'd be sitting there because I'd be trying to get a right angle and I'd try and get my hair right. And now I can just come on here and just like flick the camera on. And it doesn't matter what time of day it is, like what the light's like, where I'm looking. And that's stupid stuff. Because I'm not a vain person, but when you're worried about it, you do find yourself like sucked into trying to fix it. But now, like I say, it's just so easy. And I think as well, sorry, I'm waffling a bit, but like the decision, the fact that I kind of took control of it and made a decision without kind of, I mean, I was worried what people would think, but I disregarded that because I thought it was more important to do what was right for me. And just doing that in itself is one of the best things I've ever done in my life, because you know that you can make a decision, you can trust yourself to do something that's right for you and to make you feel happier and more confident. Yeah, it was a bit of a risk, I guess, and I was worried to do it, but I think in my heart I knew that it was the right thing to do. And yeah, like I said, I've never felt happier and more confident in myself than I do at the minute. And yeah, I guess I've got you to thank for that, partly for having a chat.
Man. Yeah, no, dude, it's fantastic. I'm really happy that we're able to do this.
The feelings you get when you think about it, you don't realise how much of a burden it is carrying it around with you. And then when it's gone, and like you say, you've been open and transparent with everyone, you just keep realising that you've got nothing to worry about. Yeah, that nagging feeling turns into like just a positive, like whatever you call it.
You on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you just keep feeling good about the decision you made. I love it as well. Like I like the way it looks. I love shaving my head now, buying new stuff, and just the process of doing it. Yeah, I love it. I'm
Brilliant.
Grateful that I spoke to you and, like you said, verbalized it and got it out. And I think that was the first step to kind of just confirming in my own head that it was something I needed to do for myself. It helped massively. Since I've done it, there's been so many friends in that reach out and say like, it will come soon enough for me, and those kind of little comments. So you kind of see behind the veil, and you kind of think, oh, there's quite a few people that are probably worried about it in the future. You don't realize they're thinking about it, and then you do it, and then you might be like inspiration for someone else down the line.
No, dude, best of luck, and keep in touch, won't you?
Perfect. Cheers for that, mate. I really appreciate it.
Been a pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your evening. All right.
Cheers, pal. Take care.
Take care, dude. Bye-bye. Stay how it, guys. That was Sam's story, and like I said at the start of this video, I really hope that just seeing the change, right, and the transition, it wasn't an overnight thing, and that's an important thing to remember. Something that, again, Sam navigated his way through, but he did it, right? He totally did it, and you can too. And I hope if there's some people out there that are watching this story, like I said, they're on that journey. Hey, I hope that discussion we had there and the story that we've shared can help you through your own journey. Guys, as always, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I, of course, will see you in that next one. Goodbye.